Yo, what's going on guys? Obi here, back with another YouTube video. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to improve your consistency in Fortnite Season 9. The tips I'm going to talk about in today's video are both for controller and PC players, so make sure you watch the entire video. Before I get into the tips on how to improve consistency, I want to mention that Ghost Bizzle is currently the most consistent Fortnite player. He has over $500,000 earned from LANs and online tournaments. He placed in the top 5 8 times, with 5 times coming in second place and 1 time coming in first, all within the fall and summer skirmishes. And when you watch him play, he isn't even super flashy with his builds, but he knows how to do all the tips I'm going to talk about in today's video extremely well. So make sure to go watch him if you want to learn from the best. The 7 best tips for improving consistency in Fortnite are minimizing RNG, practicing with different guns, game sense, meta evolution, warming up, mindset, and learning from your mistakes. Alright, so the first tip I'm going to talk about is how to minimize your RNG. I'm going to tell you right now that it is possible to do because Ghost Bizzle can do it while competing against the best players in the world. The first thing people think of relating to RNG is usually the beginning of the game when you're landing at the same house as some other player and you find the gray pistol but he finds the blue pump. Well, first of all, if you want to minimize RNG, you should not be landing in any place with houses, because houses will give you sketchy loot. Every time you land at your favorite house in Pleasant Park or Salty Springs, you hope for a chest to spawn, which you will not get every game. This is why it is good to have a landing spot with multiple places to find loot, like Dusty Divot. I like to land at Dusty Divot, and so does Ghost Bizzle, because I know where all the loot spawns are. I also go there so much that I'm always the first person to land, which gives me the upper hand every single game, because I can find a gun first. The second tip is practicing with different weapons. There are plenty of edit courses that include bots to shoot at, and you can also go in a free world with zombies to practice your builds, edits, and aim. The edit course will be in the description. While practicing, make sure to use different shotguns instead of only using your favorite, because once you get into the real game, you might not get your favorite weapon every time. Even if you don't practice, then don't take the same weapons every game. Try mixing it up by taking a blue tack shotgun instead of a combat or a pump, so that way you could work on becoming more comfortable using a different shotgun than your favorite. This way, when you're stuck leaving your landing spot with only a gray tack because you couldn't find a better shotgun, you will still be able to compete against other opponents because you will be more confident. This leads to my next and most important tip, which is game sense. A lot of people mention game sense as one of the biggest things you could work on in Fortnite. I could think of a few Fortnite players that could definitely beat Bizzle in a 1v1 creative battle, but can't hang in competitive tournaments. That is because Bizzle has really good game sense. He doesn't hesitate to make a move, and even if it's the wrong move, he has really good awareness of the game at all times. He knows when to position himself by taking high ground or low ground, turtling up, or even choosing fights. These are all part of having game sense. If you want to improve your game sense, I would try playing out the entire game for the win. Every YouTuber will tell you this, but what they don't tell you is that you have to be taking this more serious if you really want to improve. By this I mean, even if you know you might die by going into a fight with little to no mats and a great tack, but you still do it anyways because you know you could just start up another game, you will just be wasting your time. I know that it would have been really sick to kill that guy cranking 90s with full shield, but 10 times out of 10, he's sending you back to the lobby. Put pressure on yourself by really focusing on not dying easily. Do everything you can to survive as long as you can until you win. Some people forget that's the main objective of the game. Now, if you are taking it seriously and play out the entire game, then you will slowly start to learn what it takes to outplay your opponents, especially in the end game. I would play each game with making sure you have a decent loadout, shield, and at least 500 materials before you even think about engaging in a fight. If you aren't landing on a weapon in the beginning of a game, then you have to be the first, if not only person landing on a building or house in order to consistently have a good game. Because if someone sees you land in a house or on a weapon out in the open, they might be sweaty and want to kill you right away, so you have to be ready to fight back. Besides that, I probably wouldn't even engage a fight unless someone came at me first or I third party a fight knowing they are weak. That is probably the best way to get to more end games, and once you get used to being in the top 3, you will become less nervous as well, and you will start securing wins easily. Warming up is never mandatory, but if you want to get the best results from using all the tips in this video, then I suggest taking 20 minutes to warm up before you get into a game. You might think to yourself that you could just warm up by playing a few games, but in reality, you feel way more warmed up after 20 minutes of building and editing in creative mode than 2 games of Fortnite that could take up to 45 minutes to finish. And you might change your playstyle in those first warm-up games because you might not feel confident with your builds or edits, which can lead to less confidence for the rest of your games. Fortnite is always evolving. Every week it seems like there's new things that come out in the game that you have to know about so you can have the advantage over another player. An example is the new shotgun that just came out in the game. Everyone knows that it's good close range because of its fast fire rate, but people still don't want to use it because they are used to doing 50 damage with their combat shotgun from medium to close range. If you practice using the new shotgun and use it close range like you would use a drum gun or MP5, it could do a lot of damage, and that could even clear up another slot in your inventory because you wouldn't need to have that third SMG. If you aren't keeping up with the new metas coming out, then you are falling behind. Having the same mindset going to every game is also a very good tip to improve consistency in your gameplay. If you die in a dumb way the game before, don't get mad and play differently the next game. Take the death and learn from it, so even when you die, it can at least help you improve. The mechanics of Fortnite is probably the most important part of the game besides game sense. If you watch professional players when they stream, even if they are having a bad day, they can still always rely on building and editing almost perfectly 100% of the time to get them out of bad situations they may have put themselves in. They are extremely confident in being able to edit anything they need to without hesitation. So if you aren't confident in editing a wall or to take high ground, then you need to start practicing that more. The last tip is to learn from your mistakes. Every time you die, try to write down 3 things that got you killed. Where were you positioned? Did you get nervous and start choking shots? Could you not get high ground? Did you get third party because you forgot someone else probably heard gunshots and ran over to fight you? Just try it for one day and see if the same things are happening over and over again. Overall, if you are not confident with your building and editing, then use the edit course in the description. It's the same one I use to get better. Once you get more comfortable with your mechanics, then you can move on to learning better game sense. And you can learn better game sense from watching Ghost Bizzle, minimizing RNG, practicing with different guns, keeping up to date with the new meta from Fortnite updates, warming up, having the same mindset, and learning from your mistakes. If you follow these tips for one whole week, I can guarantee you will see results. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like because it means a lot. Subscribe if you want to get more valuable content like this, and comment below what videos you want me to make next. Thanks for watching, and peace out.